Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hello, fine folks. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. I am your host. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you take the time to listen to what I'm about to share with you, coming directly from Iraq. What I'm about to share with you will also be shared on Saturday at the Saturday Night Dialogues live call that we are going to have this coming Saturday, December the 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be on the Iraq announcement. Just in case if some of you haven't been able to open the link shared by Goldilocks and translated it from Arabic to English, I'm just going to quickly read the title of the article, which says, "Prepare. Exchange rate on a date with a new high. The dollar selling platform will stop and the shock is coming. Prepare. Exchange rate on a date with a new high. The dollar selling platform will stop and the shock is coming." Folks, that's the title of the article from Iraq. Now, I'm going to share some information on that here so that you can pay attention to, but more detail on the Saturday Night Dialogues call at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click the link at the top of the description. For free, you can join that room and be prepared. Also, that link, and you click the description, is also where you can join other members who are establishing relationships with the actual bankers by way of Wiley and myself teaching them in the room, coming from the knowledge and information that Goldilocks has been sharing for years on the banking system, particularly also Iraq, and getting in preparation. I encourage you, so that you don't miss your daily updates on the RV, to be prepared. At the bottom right, click the red caption that says subscribe. Subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications so that you don't miss the information. I'm going to quickly share with you what several members posted in the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues room just today on updates, meeting with their actual bankers who are going to exchange their currency. Here's one update. She says, just finished a call with a certified financial planner and private client banker for the first Tier 1 bank. It was an excellent call, and I have an in-person meeting with them on January the 9th in the new year. They want to do more of an in-depth look at my future wealth and how we can make it work for me and my family. These calls get better and better, she said. As I move forward on this journey, she says, I get more comfortable in what I'm doing and how I interact and communicate with these bankers. Again, thanks to you all for your help and guidance. They even sang happy birthday to me, which is Friday. That's what she said. Then our amazing member out of London, Bambi, says, good morning, good afternoon. I'm meeting with my second wealth manager, Tier 1 bank, I've just set up with here in London. We're meeting on December the 23rd. Then another person says, hey, I'm retired. I'm a retired wealth advisor. I reached out recently to a regional private bank relationship manager I work with at a tier 1 bank. He is now with another tier 1 bank. I also know the private banker for that region. He continues by saying, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. These are people giving you updates live and direct. He says, we caught up with each other personally as I had not seen him for some time. I had questions about the structure of Tier 1 private bank wealth team he's currently working with. I already have a personal account with that bank. I was glad he left the bank we were with because I didn't want to work with that bank. I shared I own some emerging market currencies and some crypto and was trying to make a decision on what wealth team I wanted to work with, as I believed the assets I hold were going to be very valuable. Lastly, he says, I just received an email that he and the regional manager want to have lunch or coffee with me the first week of January. Ladies and gentlemen, the banks know what's coming. Click the link at the top of the description. You can join members just like this for free. Come ask questions. We have 8 steps that you follow. We will help you along the way. Now let's jump right into the news out of Iraq that Goldilocks is sharing. It's an announcement from Iraq. The federal government has announced a plan to shut down their dollar sales window at the central bank by the end of this year, marking the end of a 2-decade-long operation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me just share with you this. The end of this year is only 2 weeks away. Iraq is confirming that they are completely shutting off the number one source that is devaluing the Iraqi dinar. The Central Bank of Iraq is now preparing to phase out what's called the dollar auction. What that is, folks, in Dr. Shabibi's white paper economic reform plan, for those of you who don't know, this is the late CBI governor who wrote the actual RV plan for Iraq. Yes, the plan for Iraq to revalue the currency. It's a 78-page document. In that document, in that white paper economic reform plan, one of the last items must-to-dos for Iraq to go international is to eliminate the dollar auction. It's the same thing that's what's called the electronic platform. Several months ago, and even several weeks ago, Goldilocks has been sharing by the CBI that they were going to do this. Now they have confirmed in writing it will be done. The Prime Minister recently, with his visit to the U.S., had put in the plans with the United States government to end the currency auction window, otherwise known as the electronic platform. This is, and I'll repeat it as much as I need to for you to understand, this is the number one source that has been choking the value of the Iraqi dinar. With this black market, also known as parallel market, also known as the currency auction window, as long as this is active in Iraq, the dinar cannot go international. It's impossible. The World Trade Organization would not accept Iraq if they continued this currency auction window, aka this electronic platform. The dinar cannot go international as long as it exists in Iraq. This is the number one source for manipulation with the dinar. What happens is with the banking system in Iraq, they sell, literally auction the US dollar on the streets. This is coming up again because now we're getting into where Iraq is formally announcing to the public that they are finalizing the economic reforms of doing this. Then they will implement what is necessary to go international. They cannot implement what's necessary to go international as long as this currency auction window is open. It's not a window like you go and peep into a house. What this means is it is an active illegal market of selling and buying the dollar and the dinar on the streets. Also, as a matter of fact, people can go to the CBI and do this. It's not just on the streets. They can go to the CBI and buy the US dollar or a defunct dinar. Total manipulation. This has been going on since the invasion of Iraq, which, folks, this has been 2 decades that they've been doing this. So just think about it. Think about what I'm about to share with you. Before this is when the dinar was worth 3+ USD. If I recall, 324, 325 or something like that before the invasion. Once the invasion happened, boom, here comes the currency auction window, aka the black market, parallel market. Boom, the Iraqi dinar value goes to the tank. Why? Because of this electronic platform. Black market, currency auction window. Several changes. Now I'm getting into this information. Several changes related to the digital economy are set to take place in Iraq beginning January the 1st. As a result of them closing the electronic currency auction window, removing themselves from the electronic platform. Something that's called a value-added tax regulation. Think of it as tariffs. Remember, Trump has been talking about tariffs in the U.S., taxing foreign countries doing business with the U.S. will increase revenue into the U.S. Iraq is planning to do the same thing beginning January the 1st. It's called a value-added tax, or a tax on goods and services coming into Iraq. But it will be done through electronic means. It will be done digitally. You must realize that in order for Iraq to go international, it must be through digital means. Iraq has been operating the dinar via manual paper dinar transactions all throughout Iraq for more than 2 decades. The world has transitioned to a digital economy. In order for Iraq to go international, they had to get up to speed with the world via digital economy. This is why 2 weeks ago, Goldilocks published in the IRAQI Gazette the new regulation of digital regulation of their banking system, passed into law. That law, published in the Gazette, was mandatory by the World Trade Organization for Iraq to get into the World Trade Organization. There's no coincidence that this is happening beginning January the 1st for Iraq. There's no coincidence that MICA, Market in Crypto Assets for Europe, begins in January. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share something with you that you may not know about the global financial system, and it's very relevant to Iraq, to Vietnam, to the U.S., and every country across the world, and it's about Europe. 75% of the world's financial markets, so think 75% of all countries, all their currencies and their business, their banking business, flows through Europe. A little quick education. When the several families that created the Federal Reserve System the IRS. I'm not going to go deep into this, but some of you are aware of this. They were also part of those families that went to Europe. Europe is the financial capital of the world. Europe is the financial arm of all countries. The United States has been the military strength and power over all countries. So as Europe moves financially, so does the world. No coincidence that market and crypto assets regulations for Europe goes into effect in January, the same time that Iraq is completing their economic reforms. Iraq is completing their economic reforms. They actually completed them yesterday. They're getting ready because they are connected to Europe. No coincidence. We have members such as Bambi in Europe, specifically London, England, that is connected with two major tier 1 banks who are going to speak with her in the beginning of the year. She's going to meet with one December the 23rd and the other one in the beginning of next year to discuss her currency, her currencies, her exchange, and preparing for her wealth transfer. This is Europe. Hope you're paying attention, folks. More on Iraq, but click the link top of the description. Don't miss your opportunity to begin establishing and learning how to establish relationships with these bankers who are actually waiting to help you. Don't miss your opportunity to meet members just like you who can teach you and help you. Don't miss your opportunity to join us, where Wiley and myself and the tribe will help educate you and give you the 8 steps to prepare for your exchange. The Iraqi banking system is still undergoing some final reforms. But significant progress, ladies and gentlemen, has been made. And now that the banking reforms are complete, we move on to the implementation stage of the reforms. Now Iraq, being that they have completed their economic reforms, they can now implement them, which absolutely 100% includes connecting their banking system to the global banking system. How would that be done? Digitally. Why is that being done? Folks, because there are banks around the world who hold the Iraqi dinar in their reserves. Yes, Vietnam holds Iraqi dinar. Yes, Venezuela, Russia, China, many of the BRICS nations hold Iraqi dinar in their reserves. How do you think, in order for all of these countries to hold Iraqi dinar, they will benefit from the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar? They must do it digitally. We're all around the world. Every country will be connected to the quantum financial system. So when the value of the dinar increases, those dinars that these countries hold in their reserves, boom, instantly will go up in value, and the reserves or the profits instantly show up on the books of each country. Just last week, Goldilocks shared from the Iraqi Gazette the law passed in Iraq by the Iraqi parliament for their digital law for the digital banks. That is so Iraq can connect to the digital global banking system. But what else was included in that law that was published in the Gazette? That all of the financial institutions that are from around the world must be licensed with the CBI in order to do business with the CBI. So all the countries around the world now must be licensed so that they can transact the dinar legally in their own banking systems. The Central Bank of Iraq has made significant progress, ladies and gentlemen, in completing the electronic platform for banking transfers, which will help Iraq to meet global standards. When we had the conference call with the CBI, Goldilocks, D, and myself on October the 14th, they said one of their main goals is to be removed from this electronic platform, disconnecting from the currency auction window so that they can connect to the international banking system. The only way, folks, that Iraq can go international, can connect the Iraqi banking system to the international world, is to disconnect from the currency auction window, otherwise known as the electronic platform. Iraq has prepared the world to connect to their CBI by passing a law that all of these countries, financial institutions, banks, hedge funds, whatever institution that wants to transact directly in a digital means with Iraq must have a license that they obtain from the CBI. That license is active for a minimum of 10 years. This is a law that was passed by the Iraqi parliament just 2 weeks ago. Do you not think that they are preparing to disconnect from the electronic platform so that they can connect to the global banking system? These economic reforms also enable Iraq to connect to the SWIFT system, although they have been, but under the new international standards. Goldilocks wants you to know what an international exchange rate is and how it's done. An international exchange rate is primarily determined by supply and demand for a currency in the Forex market, which is the foreign exchange market, folks, whereby banks, businesses, and individuals buying and selling currencies access foreign currencies. In order for Iraq to connect to the international banking system and have an international rate, it's not possible if they continue to have this electronic platform or currency auction window in Iraq. So as Iraq has announced, officially, they are shutting it down. It is so they can connect to the international global banking system digitally. As you can see, Iraq is currently setting up their supply and demand opportunities so that the dinar can be made available in the global banking system. Folks, this is where the dinar will reach its true value and rate. Is it possible that there are outlets within the global banking system that they already know the value of the dinar? Yes, but that is not made public. That will be considered insider trading. To publicly announce a rate before it's international. So just think to yourself, how is it possible that someone can tell you what a rate for the dinar or any other currency would be before it's officially made public on Forex? Folks, that's considered insider trading and illegal. While Iraq does not officially publish a rate, international organizations and research firms regularly produce a market analysis on what the rate could potentially be. But again, that is done in confidence within the international banking world. There are regulations and legalities that will now allow that to go public because of what? Corruption and manipulation. The black market currency auction window that they have announced is ending has been used to manipulate the value of the dinar for over 2 decades. That is now coming to an end. Folks, there is a reason that the banks have been speaking to our members, whom we have educated them how to communicate with the Tier 1 banks. There's a reason why we have members whose currency has been authenticated at Tier 1 banks. There's a reason why these wealth managers at the Tier 1 banks and also private wealth firms have gone into detail about trusts, formulating trust, taxes, generational wealth, generating monthly income from the exchanges of our members' currency. We have equipped our members with the knowledge and information they need so that they can communicate with these banks, these wealth managers, both Tier 1 and private wealth managers, private banks, in preparation for their exchanges. Do you want to continue to be left behind and not having this information? That's your choice. We cannot force you. But if you want to be amongst those who are prepared, who are meeting with these bankers. We even have a member today, several weeks ago, who it was like she was on a cliff, being extremely nervous to communicate with these banks. Today she announced, she's not nervous anymore. She's had her second meeting, and now she's saying she can't wait to the third, because she's become so comfortable and excited. She's now addicted to learning how she can prepare for her exchange and her generational wealth. This is a senior citizen I'm speaking of. It's not someone who is a millennial, extremely techie, extremely knowledgeable about the global financial system. An average person just like anyone else. You have the opportunity. You do not want to be in a situation for when the exchange happens and you have no clue what to do or where to go. If you are hearing how banks are all of a sudden the place where you will go to exchange your currency, when that has come from some of the same people who told you differently, look within yourself, forgive them, and stop being so afraid of nothing to be afraid of. Click the link at the top of the description. You can join the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues room, where we will welcome you with open arms. Yeah, we'll open you too. Open you to a whole new level of understanding of how this is done. But don't miss your blessing the way that it's intended for you. Don't forget the bottom right in red. Click the caption to subscribe to this channel. Folks, it's heating up. Don't get left behind. We love you.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.